map, or like anything that happens up here, SKT is totally aware. SKT, despite being 2v1'd in mid, has map control in the river on the top side. And that's really impressive, just that Bengi managed to get in there and get those wards down, or even impact. I don't know who was putting the wards down, but somebody was, and it was a big deal. You've got this ward in the river here. I don't know about that ward. That seems like a ward that would be kind of hard to defend right at this moment, but obviously they thought they could make something of it. So, you know, with the 2v1 mid, it's okay. And hopefully it stops lagging here in a second. Totally forgot to say live now. Anyway. Well, I'll go back to 248.30. I'll just refresh and go back. And hopefully we don't have any more issues. 248.30. Okay, so it was Bengi getting in there and putting those wards down. Like, look at Bengi being a hero. Those 3 wards. Like, and suddenly they can see their entire everything. This ward is maybe not the best just because they can already see a lot with their other wards, but I guess once this ward expires, that's a good ward. I kind of think a little bit further over, like in the brush over here, would have been better, but I think he was just trying to save a little bit of time. He doesn't want to waste time to walk over to that brush just to get a ward down. So now he's going, and he's going to do another tower dive. He has vision control, he can do that. You know, they do see him with the ward. So good ward by Ozone, recognizing that SKT wants to do those dives. And Dade really should back up here. He should realize, you know, I can't safely get away from this. And a good fast play keeps makes Dade go down, and a good response helps them trade with Bengi. So Ozone at least keeping themselves in this. They have a they're keeping the gold even, but because they did this 2v1 in mid, you know, SKT is able to get this bottom tower quickly, so able to trade that back. But of course you get so much more mid control from this mid tower, and I think it was a mistake really for Bengi to try and go up to this top lane, because they need to defend that mid lane. We saw how much having map control matters for Baron. So Ozone grabs the first dragon. They didn't even need to really establish vision control. They have a pink ward here, a forward pink ward. I like that. Maybe a little too forward even. Seems like a little hard to control, but they're really focused around pushing down this mid lane, which is working out for them. And then they have this forward ward here, which we'll see a lot of rotations that SKT are going to do through the jungle. Pink ward defensively from SKT. SKT is feeling like they're on the back foot, and you can see it in their warding. They have control of this top side, but they didn't get like super deep into the jungle like they sometimes do. They're just kind of dipping their feet in. And of course, everyone buying wards every time they back. No exceptions. So the gold's still even. Both teams are kind of at a standstill here. SKT doing a good job of getting some aggressive vision. And the difference is, the difference between Ozone and SKT here, SKT is always placing forward wards, always finding a place to put down some aggressive vision. Ozone only does it when they group up as a team and make a big play. So, like, you know, SKT just one step ahead because they always have that forward vision. They're not afraid to get in there and get some deep wards at all times. So, but Ozone playing this composition really well, getting some fast push down. They actually have this forward ward here too, or no, that's an SKT ward. Never mind. So Ozone or no, that is an Ozone ward. So they see exactly where Bengi is. They can push this bottom tower pretty damn safely, and they are doing that. Both teams kind of just trying to win the lane phase still. They're both trying to get all of the outer towers down. And, you know, if that happens, Ozone actually gains the advantage here. But here is where Ozone should have backed away a little sooner. They do force the Sivir ult, but probably in the end that's all right for them. Keep in mind that this tower is down, so, you know, if SKT, they have no wards here. They don't have actually any defensive wards. So if SKT gets behind them, they're totally screwed. So Impact kind of getting caught out here. Impact decides maybe he can turn it around, but then just backs away. I think Ozone kind of played that a little scared. They were scared of SKT's rotations, but here's the thing. SKT right now are on a side of the map where they have vision control. They have this dual lane in the top where they have vision control, whereas Ozone is trying to shove down a lane where they don't have vision control. They really cannot keep SKT contained. So what's going to happen is SKT can just keep flanking them from behind, keep like making these ganks happen, and Ozone can't make any progress. While SKT up in this top lane, at least they're not going to have as many issues with that because they still have this tower behind them. And now you see actually Faker getting in there, getting these really deep aggressive wards. Like they do. They have map control on one side of the map, and they're using it, and they're building more of a map advantage. And even Bengi there with him, like, they don't have a reason to be in Ozone's jungle right now. There's no objective that they're taking. They just went in there to get more vision. Vision, in this case, is the objective. They knew that they forced Ozone out of the bottom lane, so they're getting vision as an objective. So, SKT, pretty decent vision control, even on this map even on this side of the map where they have a little less control. They're still pretty well in control. So they're going to get this outer tower first, and this is where Ozone starts to fall off because they made that kind of weird decision to try to force down the bottom side. Maybe they can control the dragons by doing that, but the issue with going for those dragons is, again, you know, they controlled dragons in game 2. But they didn't make any progress. They didn't get any towers down. SKT is all about the towers. They're all about getting these towers down. You know, they eventually do make this trade because SKT actually does let up a little bit. They tried to make this gank happen on top. But, you know, if SKT just stalled this out, let this go on for a while, then the trade would have been in their favor. And so, I mean, both teams still pretty on a razor's edge even. And the dragon coming up in about a minute. So let's forward a minute to see what happens at dragon. Of course, SKT has a lot more of this aggressive vision control, so that's going to be a pretty big advantage for them. So the dragon is up. SKT, they established the aggressive vision control, and now they're going to take the dragon. The smite from Elise, you can't outsmite an Elise. So Pumandu zoning the entire team, by the way, and look at this. They're so spread out. They've got this wide spread of their team. So Dade just used his ult, and Mata just used his ult. It's really not doing... I actually think Dade used his ult to try and steal the dragon, which was the problem here because he didn't have his ult for the fight. But even if he did have his ult, at no point here... This is... Okay, right there was the only point throughout the entire fight when I saw everyone on SKT grouped up enough that you could have had a good Gragas ult. Which, at that point, you know, you've traded basically 1 for 1, but Ozone is on the back foot right now. SKT have taken the dragon, and Ozone is on the back foot. They are running away. So, you know, if he does that cask, it's still not super likely that they're going to turn it. Maybe they could have, but the point is he doesn't have the cask. So SKT win that fight because they set up vision control, and they got the dragon for it, and then Bengi making big plays. Big plays, by the way. These aren't no small kind of plays. Dade with the silly flash. And Looper wants to recall safely, so he puts a ward down and recalls. So SKT is like, hey, let's reestablish vision, because, their wards are expiring here, so I think they gotta... No, actually, they don't really reestablish vision, because they don't have the wards in their inventory right now. But Piglet's like, hey, I'm not going to recall after that fight. I'm going to push out the lane, because I can. And that's going to help them control the map more. They've got this like lane ward just to see like anyone who walks up the lane, particularly Looper, who has this teleport. This ward is actually really important. Like, I don't know if you saw that. Pumondu started walking towards Looper the second he walked over this ward, and he did that because he can mess Looper up. Like, if Looper, for instance, tries to teleport somewhere and Pumondu moves towards him, he can cancel it. Right now that's not going to be super relevant. But the point is, he's aware of what's going on, and he's, ready to deal with it. I don't know if he was moving specifically in response to Looper being there. He may have just been putting down these wards. But still, wards. I want to talk about this ward, this pink ward right here. This is a little bit of a weird ward. Hey, and look, they put their pink ward in the right spot. They realized, hey, we need to actually put it inside the pit to clear out their wards, and then they did that. So I want to talk about this pink ward here. Why do they want this pink ward here? This is kind of a weird pink ward spot. We haven't seen this before. And the answer to that is, yeah, it's a little bit of a weird spot, but there's a lot of action that's going to happen around this mid lane. They've got their split pushers, so for the most part, both of these teams are going to be focused around the mid lane, especially Ozone, who wants to group as a team and shove, and really should be doing that. And it's unfortunate that they put themselves in a disadvantage by kind of whiffing that dragon fight a little bit. But if SKT controls vision around the mid, if they deny Ozone vision and they control vision around the mid, what happens is they can play this like divide and conquer team composition and catch out Ozone while they're rotating. Like, they can even use this pink ward to bait. It's very likely that Ozone's going to find this pink ward, and then they can start a fight on top of it. Like, that's an objective that Ozone's going to be going for, and SKT is using that objective to bait Ozone. It happens at Dragon. It happens at pink wards. It happens all the time. The advantage of pink wards is that you can decide where they're going to be. So Ozone's still shoving this bottom lane. They're actually slow pushing it, which is kind of a weird decision. I don't know why they want to stall out this game. It seems like they would want to group mid and start sieging, especially because of this extra map control they have. But that's not what they're doing. And because they didn't establish that aggressive map control, they didn't establish the aggressive vision. There's Dandy clearing out a ward. That's pretty good. He recognizes that, SKT does want to establish the aggressive vision, so let's deny the aggressive vision. But Ozone at this point is in full-on defensive mode, which is not good because SKT knows how to beat a team playing defense. The biggest issues, honestly, that SKT have historically had are against teams who, like the KT Bullets, who constantly bring the fight to them. Don't let them play their aggressive vision game or play the aggressive vision game better than them. They have struggled against that kind of a thing in the past, and Ozone's kind of just saying, okay, I'll let you play your game, and then maybe if I can extend the game long enough, then I'll win. But against SKT, you're not going to. So SKT, more deep wards into the jungle. It's so good for them. And Ozone's not even interested in engaging